Stem and leaf and dot plots. So these are graphical displays that we use, and we're going to talk extensively about stem and leaf and dot plots. So you can use both of them to represent data. Qualitative data could be used in dot plots, but stem and leaf would only use quantitative data. So when you have a lot of repeated data, your dot plots work out well. When you have a lot of unique pieces of data, stem and leaf plot is better. It kind of depends upon your data. So here we have a stem and leaf plot. There's a 2-digit numbers on the left, and on the right is the stem and leaf plot that goes with it. So if you were to start at the first column, notice there's a key down here. There's always a key. The key is very important because that tells you how to read the graph. So we have the 2-digit numbers. First of all, we have 14. So this is your tens digit. According to the key, the first number is the tens digit. The second number is the ones. So we have a 1 and a 4, that's 14. My next number is 14, then 12, then 13, then 12, then 11, then 12, and then 18. Now we could keep reading it. I don't know that we need to read it all. So this is 23, 22. This is 23 here, and then 22 here, 20, 22, 23, 21, 23, 27. Now, some people believe you should put them in order and have an ordered stem and leaf. So on the right, you can put them in order, and that's fine. Some people put commas in them. Traditionally, that is not the correct way to do it. So if your teacher does it that way, don't hold it against them. But I'm saying sometimes you'll see them with commas in between these numbers. That's not mathematically correct. Your leaf only generally has 1 digit, sometimes 2. So we read them accordingly. Now you can get a lot from a stem and leaf. Your smallest number here is 11, and your highest piece of data is 99. So you can see that happening. And a lot of your data is in the 20s and in the teens. So that kind of helps you out with your stem and leaf. Do you understand how to build one? So you would start with the number 20 over here. You would put the 2. Let me get this pointer back. You would write down in the 2 column, you would write the 0 for 20. Apparently I mixed them up, and then 23 and so forth. So let's continue on and look at some of these. When researching, I ask college students their age. Let's go back one. If you have this data, these are the cost of something. So your stem and leaf are accordingly. The key down here is 71. So the 7 on the front is the tens, and the 1 on the back is the ones digits. So this would be 71 and 73. By the way, commonly you pick a piece of data, any piece of data, and make your key. So this would be 110 down here at the bottom, 111, 119. You may choose any piece of data to make your key. It's up to you. So when researching, I asked college students to what their age was. So take a minute, build the stem and leaf plot. Pause the video, build the stem and leaf plot, and see if it matches mine. Okay, so you should be done now that you're unpausing the video. So here's my stem and leaf plot. There's a lot of numbers in the teens, a lot of 20s, and a 45. So that's interesting. Make sure you have your key. The 2 goes on the front for the tens digit, and then the 4 goes after the line, so that number is 24. And it doesn't have to be that. You can pick any piece of data you want to be your key. So here would be the ordered version. The numbers go in order: 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 19, 19, 19, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and so forth. You can easily see from either one that your lowest piece of data is 16 and your highest is 45. And most people in this class are in their 20s. So here are a couple of stem and leaf plots that are different. The one on the left is a stem and leaf plot where if you look at it, this line is where you put the decimal point. So this is 4, line 2, 3. So it's 4.23. So this number is 2.47, 3.32, 4.23, 4.52, 5.04, 5.21, 5.67, and 6.44. Now that could happen if you're measuring like the length of something scientifically, And that could be in centimeters or in inches. So meters, yards, feet, you need a label if you're going to really read it for well. When you look at this data, your smallest piece of data is 2.47. Your largest piece of data is 6.44. And most of your data occurs between 5 and 6 inches, meters, feet, whatever it is. But that's not always the case. Do you see this decimal point is here? So this is traditional that there's only one leaf. This one's a little different because the stems are grouped better and the data is spread out in the twos. So here we would have 2.22, 2.23, 2.27, 2.32, 2.39. So here your measurements are a little closer together. Your highest piece of data is 2.67. Your lowest piece of data is 2.22, whatever that would be, inches, yards, feet. So this is a really interesting one. These are some math test scores, and it's a double stem and leaf plot. So the stem is in the middle, but you read it in the front still. So these, let me switch. This 6 goes in the front of all of these. So 62, 63, 67, 68, because our key tells us that 77. Oh, I should have picked a different data value. All right. And on this side, 62, 66, 67, 64, 61. Now you can see it's split. The lowest value over here is a 62. The lowest value over here is a 61. Sorry about that. The highest value over here is a 103. The highest value over here is 100. Now you can see that most of these are in the 80s and 90s. So these are A's and B's with some C's and a few D's. Here, the majority of your grades line in the 70s. So I would say your D, your B, C, and D's are where these lie. Now here's the question. What is your lowest 10th grade score or highest? I already told you that. And the lowest, pause and think about those 4 questions, then we'll do it again. So the highest 10th grade score was a 103, and the lowest 10th grade score was a 62. The highest 11th grade score was a 100 and the lowest was a 61. So those are interesting because they're nice to build and you can kind of look at the data together. Sometimes there's a 5 line on one side, but not on the other, or the 10 line might be used. So if you don't have any data, like the one we had back here, let me see if I can go back. Like the one we had back here, there's no data in the 3s, so you just leave it blank. Dot plots. Here we have dot plots. Now, this data right here wouldn't work in a stem and leaf because it's all single digits. But look how nicely this data presents. So in a dot plot, you build a number line across the bottom, and the numbers are sequential. Don't skip numbers. And then you put a dot representing each piece of data. So you put a dot on the 4, a dot on the 3, a dot on the 4, a dot on the 3, a dot on the 3, and a dot on the 5 accordingly. So you end up with a dot plot that looks like this. So again, what's your lowest piece of data? 2 meals. And your highest piece of data? 5. Good. Which one is the most often? 3. By the way, that's called your mode. We'll get into that later. But your mode is 3 because it's the one that occurs the most often. So it helps you recognize patterns and pay attention to what you see. So here is some data from college students and how many states they visited. You're going to construct the dot plot. Start with the number line, and your lowest value is 2, and your highest data is 42. So you got to go at least from 2 to 42. And in a dot plot, you don't skip numbers. Here, this one's nice because it's 2, 3, 4, 5. But here you're going to go from 2 to 42 and don't skip numbers. So take a minute, build your dot plot. You can put circles above them, or it's even common to put X's to represent the dots. I know it's called a dot plot, so some people look at me and say you can't use X's, but when you're writing, it's a lot easier to put X's than to worry about your dots all being the same size. So pause the video, construct your dot plot, and then come back. All right, I'm going to suppose that you are coming back, and this is the dot plot I have. You can see our lowest piece of data is 2. Our highest piece of data is 42. The one that occurs the most is 3. Most of these students visited 3. The mode, the most frequently visited number is 3. So hopefully you understand how to read a dot plot, how to construct a dot plot, as well as a stem and leaf. And I hope that answers any questions that you have. A lot of people say a stem and leaf is better when you have repeated values. I think if you have single digits, you have to do a dot plot. If you have double digits, you can still do a dot plot, but the dot plots work when there's like the numbers between 10 and 99, there's like one of each. So your stem and leaf would basically have one value in every spot. So a lot of repeated values lead towards a dot plot, and spread out values lead towards stem and leaf. All right, I hope you enjoyed this lesson and have a great day.